Bismillah wa salatu wassalam ala rasulillah. Now today's lesson is about grammar in context. Macmillan, Flying High 6, Unit 4, Grammar, page 43. Now we're going to continue, but before we start we have to revise what's going on, what's happened before. Now revision. Article, do you remember what's the meaning of article? We use the a, an, the, and also sometimes we don't use any of the articles. So in this one, I bought a book, because I mentioned it for the first time. I never mentioned it before. I bought a book. The book, now because I've mentioned it before, I say the book. The book was great, was excellent. Okay. Now this is another sentence. Men are stronger than women. In this one we don't use a or an or the, because we are talking about general, in general. So we say men, okay, also women. Okay. Now today's lesson is going to be grammar in context. We're going to take grammar, so, much, to, enough, and also we're going to take some exercises, and then we're going to finish up with the speaking. The first one, so, much, to, enough. Now what do we mean by so? We use so to intensify. What does it mean intensify? Make it stronger, intensify. So angry, so mad, so hungry. Okay, so good. Intensify the meaning, make it stronger, of adjectives and adverb. Okay, so for example, she's so hardworking. Okay, that's intensifying. Now we use to say that something is excessive. Excessive, it's more than necessary. It's too much. I cannot do it. Okay, for example, the box is too heavy. It's heavy, I cannot lift it. It's too heavy. It's different from very. If I say it's very heavy, that means I can lift it. But if I say it's too heavy, I cannot do anything about it. I cannot lift it. Now, the second one, we use such to intensify also the meaning of nouns. The meaning of nouns. For example, it's such an interesting topic. Such an interesting topic. He's asked such difficult questions. Okay, it also means very, that's just like so. But in this one we use intensify the meaning of nouns. Okay, this one adjectives and adverbs. We use enough to say as much as necessary, as much as you can, or to say satisfying, it's enough, satisfying, both meanings. For example, we have enough food. Okay, so enough food, that means it's okay, we have it. If I want to say we don't have enough food, that means we need some food. It's not enough. The room is warm enough. Now what's the difference between this one and this one? In this one it's a noun. It came before a noun. If you say enough food, food is a noun. So enough food. But in this one it's warm enough, it's an adjective. It's warm, صفة. So if you use an adjective, you put enough after the word. But if you use a noun, you put enough before the word. You say he's what? For example, enough. We don't have enough blankets. Blanket, معناها غطاء. It's a noun. But if you say the warm, it's enough, or it's cold enough. Cold, it's an adjective. Okay. Now look at these sentences and complete the rules below with so, much, to, or enough. We're going to complete them with these words. Okay, so we have these rules, A, B, C, D. The first one, the chimpanzee got so tired of visitors that he'd throw stones at them. He used to throw stones at them. So tired. So B, he did it so carefully. So carefully. Very carefully it means. Okay, C, it's such a clear example that you have to agree with the scientists. Such a clear example. D, it's such a pity. من المؤسف. It's such a pity. يا لهم المؤسف. Okay. E, it wasn't too difficult to find the stones. It wasn't too difficult. It wasn't too difficult. For F, they aren't or are or aren't clever enough to make future plans. Now, A, or 1, we use then blank to say if something is or isn't excessive. What do you think? Which one is from this? It's 2. We use 2 to say if something is or isn't excessive. It comes before an adjective or a noun. It comes, you say, too heavy. Not too, for example, this one, where is it? It wasn't too difficult. It wasn't too difficult. But that means it was easy. It was easy. We use blank to say if something is or isn't sufficient. It's not what? It's not sufficient. It doesn't fill my needs. Enough. We use enough. They are clever enough or they aren't clever enough. Okay? 3. We use blank to intensify a noun. Now in this one we use to intensify an adjective or adverb, but this one a noun. What is it? Such. With or without an adjective. If the noun is singular, we use a an before the noun. Okay? 4. We use space to intensify an adjective. Intensify an adjective means so. So. An adjective or an adverb. 5. We use to plus infinitive after blank and blank. So we use it after what? We use it after to and after enough. So we use it after to or after enough. We use that after space or blank and space. Which one? So and such. We use them before that. We're going to take more examples. Now these are the examples to specify the meaning or to clarify the meaning. Now we finished with the grammar. Now we're going to take some examples. Now we have these words. A, enough, enough, so, such, to. Now in this one, these are two different. Two, but they are the same. They have the same pronunciation. Okay, complete the sentences with these words. If no word is necessary, put dash. If you don't have to use any word, just put dash. The first one. He's clever that the university offered him a place with when he was just 15. Which one? What do you say? He was clever. He was so clever. You don't use too clever. If you use too here, that means the opposite. That means he's not clever. He's dumb. Okay, we used so clever. He was so clever. I'm 15, so I'm blank young to drive a car. So I'm what? Too young, because you have to have 17, you have to be 17 to drive a car. But he said what? I'm 15, so I'm too young to drive a car. It's such blank beautiful day today. It's such a what? What do you think? It's such a beautiful day or enough day or so beautiful or such beautiful. Which one do you think? It's a beautiful day. You say it's a beautiful day. She isn't tall to get the ball off the shelf. Now the ball is very high and we need someone who is tall enough. So, but she's not tall. She's not tall enough. She's not tall enough. 5. It's too blank late. Say that you are sorry. What do you think? It's too late. It's too late to say that you are that you are so sorry. 6. I have such blank good memory of living by the sea. What do you think? I have such blank. I have such good memories of living by the sea. You don't use anything with that. 7. The book was interesting that I read it twice. The book was, what do you use? Interesting, or enough interesting, or so interesting. So interesting. So interesting that I read it twice. When you are 18, it must control your old what? In most countries, you're old enough to drive. In most countries, you are old enough to drive. Khadija and Maryam are what? Good friends. What do you think? You use what? Are such a good friend. Such a good friend. I love that person, presenter. His program are good. What do you think? Are so good. His programs are so good. Now complete the sentences with so that had a similar meaning. Now we have to complete it with some similar meaning. Do not change the words given. Use between 2 and 5. Only use between 2 and 5. They're going to give you a sentence and you have to change the meaning, but you have to use the word that they give you. Number 1, that web design does such good website that everyone copies him. So the word so. The web designer's website, blank, copies him. The word so, what do you use? What do you think? Are so good that everyone copies him. Okay? The water was so cold that we couldn't swim. Then the word to. The water was, what do you think? Use the word to. Too cold to swim. The water was too cold, but because they didn't go. So you use to. The book was really interesting and everybody wanted to read it. So such. Use the word such. I was, then everybody wanted to read it. I was what? Oh, it was such an interesting book that everybody wanted to read it. Everybody wants to read it. Everyone. Her cakes are so good that you could sell them. Enough. The word enough. So what do you use? He or her cakes, what do you think? Sell. Are good enough to sell. Are good enough to sell. It was so cold that day that they stayed at home. Now, such. It was, he's talking about the day. So it was such a cold day that they stayed at home. It was so dark that they couldn't see anything. So there was two. It, what do you think? It was too dark to see anything. It was too dark to see anything. 7. He's so insecure that he'll never be a good leader. So the word self-confident. What do you say? He isn't self-confident enough to be a good leader. Now they should have used enough with that, but it's okay. Now, number 8. Maher doesn't write very well, So he won't become a professional journalist. Journalist means صحفي, someone who writes for a journal or for a magazine or for a newspaper. Enough, the word enough. Maher doesn't, he's talking about writing, he doesn't write well enough to become a professional journalist. He doesn't write well enough. Now he used enough at the back because it comes after well. It's an adjective or an adverb, sorry. They've got such a good, now this one, A, use your imagination to complete these sentences. Now use your imagination. Any completion, any kind of sentence that could complete it, I think it's going to be okay. Use your imagination. But I've used some of them here, so it doesn't mean that if you have different words, it means that you're wrong. No, it might be you have words that even better than mine. Okay. They've got such a big house that, what do you think that you should complete it with? Now I use this one. They could go all day without seeing each other because their house is so big they don't have to see each other. There was a man who was so rich that, what do you think? Who was so rich that he built himself a golden palace. Built a palace of gold. I know a boy who was so stubborn that he ended up without any friend because he's stubborn, anid. He doesn't have any friends. My friend is so quiet that he's so quiet, he doesn't talk, he doesn't do anything. It's really hard to have a conversation with him. You cannot talk to him. You cannot bring a subject and talk to him. Number 5. I know somebody who was too tired to. What do you think? Gets up in the morning and spend every day in bed. He doesn't get up in the morning. We aren't fit enough to. We aren't fit enough to do what? Climb the mountain. We're not fit enough to climb the mountain. We cannot climb the mountain. I'm such a good student that I'll pass all my exams first time. In the first time or for the first time. The cat is so clever that she's so clever. So what is she? What does he want to do? It can answer math questions. Okay? Now, in this one we finished the first one, and we finished the exams, the exercises. Now we're going to go to the speaking. Now this one you have to do it by yourself. Work in small groups. Compare sentences. Now the sentences that you've written before, the completion of the sentences, choose the funniest and tell them to the rest of the class. It doesn't have to be really intelligent or something. Choose the funniest only. The funniest, and then show it to the class. And that's it. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. وهذا وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد.